Good evening, Miss Kelly.
Good evening, Karl. Good evening, world. Welcome to Real Talk with Kelly and Karl.
Mind, body, spirit.
Yes, we need to use that.
We need to remember that more often.
Yeah, we were good like the first month.
Yeah.
You know, 10 months later.
Right. Right. That's amazing though. Actually, I think March will make a year.
Yeah.
We got to go back and do a little research. We should have like a 1 year, I don't know, Zoom celebration or something to celebrate our one. It's been Kelly. That blows my mind.
Right. It
That we've
feels
been
like
doing
it's
it for
been
a
a couple
year.
months.
That's amazing.
Like, how
How
is it
much a year?
possible?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty
How is
cool.
it possible? So tonight is the
Q&A.
people's choice.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Q&A.
the people's choice. So long story short, guys, this is your opportunity to tell us what we're talking about. Post your questions, post your topics, your comments, and we will make that our conversation for the night. Did you get any?
Exactly.
Did you get any comments in the post you
Not
posted
yet.
earlier?
Not
Okay.
yet. No, I didn't see any, but hopefully we'll get some soon. And I think the idea here is, of course, in our previous format using Zoom, it was a lot harder to, go back and forth in the comments. With this platform that we're using now, we see them as they come in, and we can answer and respond. So it's a lot better for interaction, I think.
It definitely is. It
Yeah.
definitely is. And so you guys just drop your questions um, in the chat, and we will get to them. I apologize for not giving you my full 100% attention. Technology here today. So my normal computer, you see like the angle's off and it's a little bit different. My computer, I bought a camera off of Amazon, and it's one of, you just go to Amazon and look at the reviews and you buy what you think is a decent camera. And it broke like 32 days after the purchase, and you can return it after a month, up until a month. So I'm on my laptop because I have to return this camera that I've been using for, video chats.
Right.
So you're getting my laptop view, even though I'm still working on the computer. So we're multitasking just a bit, but it's all good. It's all good.
So good.
So what are some of the?
Oh, we have a hi from Michelle Mercer.
Hi, Michelle. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Is it warm where you are? Where are you? Probably someplace nice. She's usually someplace warm. It'd be nice. As much as I love winter, I'd love like a nice beach situation right now. I'd be okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah. And you got your second COVID vaccination shot today.
Yes.
So I got mine on Saturday, and you got yours today.
Yep. You're still standing.
Oh, 57 degrees. Burn.
Oh boy, that's too bad. My heart's bleeding right now.
What is it in? So how are you feeling? It's 34 here, man. So we'll take your 57, Michelle.
I got a little bit of a sore throat right now.
Okay.
But nothing besides that. Of course, everybody's story is different.
Yeah. And, I was talking to my mom, and, she was asking me questions about, how I felt and did I have a fever. And I have no idea how I felt fine, but I have allergies. So I sniff all the time. She's like, well, were you tired? I'm like, well, it was the weekend. So I'm always kind of tired on the weekend. I didn't notice anything extraordinary. And thank you, Michelle. Everybody has a decision to make, and the decisions that you and I made, people will look at the exact same evidence and look at the exact same situations, and we'll just make a different decision. So, our goal has always been informed decision making.
Right.
But I'm thankful that I work at a hospital, and
Yeah. I worked through a center myself. That's how I was eligible.
yeah, and
But I do have, must say, I'll just I do have some health conditions which definitely take into account that I would certainly be up on the list. I'll put it that way.
yeah. I mean, outside of age, because I'm not 65, every other high risk category, I think I have to go through, but several of them I might fit in. But I'm thankful. I was able to get both shots, and thankful that I didn't have any side effects. I know some people do, but I'm thankful that I didn't, and I hope you don't have any as well. I know you're a little sore throat-ish, but I hope that's it.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. I've said it before. I said it even before I got my first dose. I said it all along. Well, since they came out with it and told about the efficacy and how basically how good they are in terms of just how they help. I've always just said the benefits far outweigh the risks. For my mind, that's why I certainly did that. So.
For me. And so just a reminder for everybody that is joining us tonight, this is People's Choice. You give us the questions and the topic, and we will cover it. Now, we're only on here for 30 minutes, so don't wait around and, say, I guess I'll ask my question now. Just go ahead, throw it up there, no judging whatsoever, and we will address your topic. So questions, topics, comments, we are here for all of it tonight.
And I would say this too. Remember that part of our mission is to address stigma.
Right.
And the way that we address stigma is to have people speak up and speak out and talk. Now, I'm not saying for folks to self-disclose or unless they want to. That's perfectly fine. But we're just saying speak up, ask a question, get some information so we can eliminate stigma, raise awareness, and basically promote our mission. So, here we go. William.
Hi, brother.
He says, I'm hearing why is not. I can't read this one.
Because why are there side effects with the second shot over?
Right.
It's the second dose.
Yeah.
So you have more of the technical stuff that they use to ensure that the vaccine works than you do the second time around. You have more the second time around, which is why you're more likely to have side effects, because you got the first dose, you wait 21, 28 days, depending upon which, Pfizer or Moderna, and then you take the second one to really give your body the chance to build up the antibodies it needs. Now, Karl and I are not epidemiologists or virologists or medical professionals.
I don't even go on TV, Kelly.
Not even. No, I have no white coats. I do have a white blazer, but that's neither here nor there. So we're just sharing our experiences, and we talk to a lot of doctors, and so we the information that we share is just from our personal experience and research and such. Michelle has.
So we have a question from Michelle. I don't know if you want to read that.
I have a question. Her words, not mine. How do you encourage a person to seek treatment if they have crippling anxiety and depression, but are embarrassed to get treatment? That's a good question, Michelle. Empathy for me is where it all starts, right? Depending upon the person in my relationship, if it's someone that's close to me, they know what I've been through, right? Because I'm so vocal with my family and friends and strangers as well. And just explaining the benefits. I don't believe in forcing anybody. It is their choice whether or not they want to seek treatment. And, it is not for me to make that decision for them, but to just be open, to listen, to be a sounding board. They maybe they want to talk about the embarrassment with me. I'm an ear. I'm an arm to hug. I'll go with you. I will, be on the phone with you. I'm here in that capacity for.
Oh, and I think Kelly just froze for some reason. That's interesting. That has never happened before. So, Kelly, you were talking about empathy, and I wholeheartedly agree with empathy because for me, whenever I talk to folks that might be experiencing mental health concerns of one kind or another, there may be some embarrassment about speaking up. But one thing I would say is that we have to consider that individuals are more likely to seek help if we're supportive, if we don't talk down to them, if we are willing to, at even times, I know it may not be so easy now, but sometimes we might accompany the person, but also if we just normalize it. And the point here is that, and I see Kelly is actually gone right now, so I'll carry on, and so hopefully Kelly will be back. But anyway, so we know that by normalizing mental health and mental health conditions, that it just lets people know that they're not the only ones and they're not alone. So, for instance, we know that 1 out of 5 people lives with a diagnosable mental illness in our country. We also know that out of that 1 out of 5, about 1 out of 5 of those folks lives with, say, anxiety. And then another, I guess, 14 to 15% roughly live with a depressive disorder. And of course, there's different statistics, and of course, different years, but the bottom line is you're not alone. And I think the thing that unfortunately, when people see this, they feel like they're the only ones battling with the battling. And we have to remind them that you're not the only one going through this. And if you are willing, you're willing to just consider reaching out, then you might be able to get some help. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of when you have a mental health condition, because frankly, I think what's the number, Kelly? 1 or 4 people in their lifetime will experience, as opposed to 1 or 5 in a given year. And it even goes more if you consider the amount of people that, either ourselves or someone we know. The number gets even
Right.
larger, I guess you could say, people. So we're all affected.
Thank you for being awesome, Karl, and running with that.
So I just I was kind of going solo, flying solo for a second there, Kelly, as you know.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, the internet said
That's never happened before. It's never
never.
happened before with us. It figures the one night we're trying to get some interaction, like the bug, it bugs
Right.
out.
Right.
But anyway,
Right.
so yeah. So, but please, more questions. So, Michelle, I hope that helped with something that might give you some guidance. But certainly, I think we just need to normalize this whole thing. So, one thing I want to make folks aware of. I'm the chairperson of the Erie County Anti-Stigma Coalition, and that's our message: is to address stigma, to eliminate stigma. And our website is letstalkstigma.org. And on the website, you can take the pledge to end stigma. You can get information. You can sign up for our newsletter, and there's also calendar events and other resources. So that's a good website to go to stand up and be a voice, get your voice heard for stigma.
And thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Let's see.
Okay, I see something here. I don't know if it popped up on the other screen, but I'll see if I can see it here. This is from Maury. She says, someone once said to me that we go to doctors for all types of physical issues, then why won't we don't go to a professional or don't go to a professional for mental health issues? Absolutely right. Think about it this way. If you go to a doctor, say whatever the problem is, think about it this way. It's our brain. Our brain is part of our physical body. It is a physiological portion of us. So if you're going to treat your body well, treat your brain well. And
Right.
there's a saying by the former Congressman Patrick Kennedy, who is a national mental health advocate now. He says, you got to get a checkup for the neck up. I love that saying. Get a checkup for the neck up.
I feel like that's in a rap song.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. He probably stole it
I feel
to
like that's
sing.
the lyric.
Get
As
your
my
chick up
son
the
would
middle.
say, that's a bar.
Well,
Um,
I'm with
I
James Brown
separate
now.
to kind of help people understand um, the scale, right? The spectrum, right? There's physical health and physical illness. There's mental health and there's mental illness. We take care of our physical body. When our body is physically healthy, there's things that you do to simply just maintain your health. If you have a physical illness, there's going to be a different set of things you need to do in order for your body to either become healthy again or to address that illness. And the same is true for mental health and mental illness. Everyone is responsible for their mental health, right? Whether it's, what we, talk about self-care, going to a therapist or talking, to a mental health professional does not mean you have a mental illness or a mental health challenge. Just like going to the doctor, physical doctor, doesn't mean that you have a physical illness or a physical health challenge, right? But we want to make sure that everything is in alignment, getting a checkup from the neck up. So I think, as you said, the more we normalize the conversations, the more, they see, I would think people see you and I and say, oh, those are just two regular people. We're all regular people, regardless of the illness, regardless of the situation or the challenge. And I think the more we have that conversation, the more we talk about us just being us, the easier it is for people to be able to have that conversation, to ask for assistance, to talk to a therapist or a mental health professional, to seek, someone to speak to. My personal mental health challenge is labeled as borderline personality disorder. And along with that comes major depression and generalized anxiety. And so I give you those three big scary words for a lot of folks, right? Because we have to normalize that conversation too. Having a diagnosis is just a guideline, right? And it helps me better understand what to look for. It helps my medical team better understand what to look for. But nothing is ever clear cut, right? Two people with the same diagnosis won't necessarily have the same reaction, same symptoms, same signs, right? So it helps to address the issue. We know what certain interventions do if someone has a certain set of issues or concerns. So it's all about better understanding, what may work best for somebody.
And just to add on to that, of course, the whole idea of diagnoses, people use them as labels. And people don't like labels. People don't like to be
Right.
labeled, because so that's where a lot of stigma comes from. So in a way, and kind of just agreeing with what you just said, I try to separate my diagnosis from who I am as a person. My diagnosis, bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features with co-occurring addiction disorder, is just a part of who I am. Along with that, though, are some features of me that are more healthy in effect. And actually, I'm healthy with my mental health. I take care of it. I'm in remission. That's the word I would use, like any other disease. I've been in remission now for probably going on 26 years. My last manic episode was in 1995. So the reason I say that is that I began my whole advocacy career, if you want to call it that, many years ago, because I just wanted to tell people that recovery is possible. And you too, Kelly, are a testament of that fact that we can experience, I would say, significant, challenges, but we can overcome them.
Right. And there is a gift in the challenge for me, always speaking from my personal experience. The way my brain works allows me to see things differently. Right. And so I use that to my advantage. I'm better able to see different perspectives because of how my brain processes emotions. And so I'm able to take a step back and see things in, people that know me. Will say, I don't even know how you came up with that, Kelly. Right. But that is a part of the condition. And so I don't shy away from that. I don't try and not be who I am. I don't use what I have. And so I take those things as assets. By no means are they, detrimental or negative. And just so long as I am healthy, those characteristics are beneficial to not just me, but to the rest of the world. And so I challenge people to look at mental health and mental health conditions and challenges a little differently. Look at how the characteristics, the conditions can be used in a beneficial way. Right.
So remember, folks, Kelly gave you a little bit of a nudge early. If you have a question or comment, drop it in the comments so we can address it. We can talk about it, and we wanted to open it up to all of you who might have something you want to share. So please do. We're talking about tonight. We're talking about erasing the stigma.
Yeah,
bring it out, talking about it, and the best way to do that is to have a conversation. And I think it's so funny how I've learned through doing this for many years, and I'm sure you do too, Kelly, is that when you open up about it in a way that you feel comfortable, not saying you got to broadcast it to the world,
right?
But even when you say the words or when you say the diagnosis and you say to someone, it could actually be empowering and liberating. I know for me, early on it was difficult, but as time went on, it just became natural. And now, I mean, of course, I kind of incorporated into my work, but in the same respect, early on, I wasn't doing anything remotely like this.
Right.
And so, but it still became part of my lexicon. In the first place, it really happened was within my family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I ever told you this story. So being in 12-step recovery, my daughters, who were very young, knew I'd go to meetings, and then eventually, oh, what do you go to those meetings for? And that eventually came out, what I do. But then when my daughter, Sarah, my older daughter was 13, I was in the basement running on my treadmill, and she comes down the stairs and she goes, Dad, are you bipolar? I'm like, yeah, why? And she goes, that magazine on the table. So it was a copy of BP magazine.
Oh, wow.
BP, I had a subscription, and we just kind of not talked about the mental health thing that much because there was no need to. There was no reason. There's no problems or issues or whatever. But that began the conversation with her, and that's when I was able to talk to her. Of course, she was 13. She wasn't little, but she was able to understand at her level, at her age, some of the things I dealt with. But then it became part of our natural family conversation. And not that I was a focal point, but it just became easier to talk about it to the point where over time, it was just who I was and who the family was.
And so you normalize the conversation within the house.
Exactly. Right? That's the point.
It wasn't like, well, what do you mean? Am I bipolar? What? Where did you hear that word?
That's a great place to start, though, Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so even in the home, sometimes, like I said, we talked about this before. When I grew up, my mother we wouldn't talk about it in the house. No
Most
way.
People didn't, right? And even with someone in the home that had challenges. Right. They're just, they're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Uncle Johnny is talking to himself, and there's no one that this is more than not feeling well. Yeah. Right. And so we are and still, in many cultures and families, quick to put people away, hide them. That shame, that mental illness is contagious, and that is really a part of, the work that you do, we both do in breaking down the stigma and those barriers, is that there's nothing to be ashamed of, right? Just like there's no shame in a broken leg, there is no shame in a mental health challenge.
Exactly.
And the more we have those conversations, especially around early intervention, right? If we address things when they were smaller issues, a lot of them would not become larger issues,
Right.
but we
Exactly.
hide and understandably so. We don't address things, we don't talk about them. We hush, children. Children should be seen, not heard. Stay out of adults' business. All of these things are not beneficial to learning, growing, having open lines of communication, and really breaking the stigma.
Right.
Just checking out comments to see if we got anything going over here.
So really, I think what we're talking about here is just, it's almost saying, let's talk about it. Right? We said, join the conversation, like the Anti-Stigma Coalition slogan is. And I don't know, I think for me, and I've talked to people, in fact, I'm gonna tell you this, I don't know if you saw, I know you said you haven't been on social media much, but so there's a young woman who I've known for a number of years, named, I'll just use her first name, Cece, and we're friends on Facebook. And yesterday evening, she sent me a poem,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "Would you please post this on your page?" And so I said, "Sure." I said, "Can I use your name?" She said, "Yes." So I tagged her in it,
Okay.
and it was a poem about dissociation and PTSD.
Mm.
And mind you, she's I think Cece's maybe like 21 or 22 maybe, but it was very profound. It was very deep and heartfelt and vivid. But it had at the very end that glimmer of hope, which is really, that's the beauty. But it was pretty incredible what she had written, and so I posted it, and we got some very favorable feedback from folks that obviously don't know her, but really appreciated what her poem said, and really her sentiment, and even some people said they could relate. So it's incredible by just being a voice, what we can do.
Yeah.
And we say it so many times, you never know who you're going to touch. You never know who's going to see you, hear you, whatever, in whatever capacity.
There is, I would love to play this video, and I don't know if technology, we'll see how it works, but you might have seen it. It's called Explaining My Depression to My Mother
Mm-hmm.
by Sabrina Benang. Let's see if I can pull it up for us. I think I can, Karl. All right, folks. So we're going to try a little something new. And I want to share this with you guys.
Explaining my depression to my mother, a conversation. Mom, my depression is a shapeshifter. One day it is as small as a firefly in the palm of a bear. The next, it's the bear. On those days, I play dead until the bear leaves me alone. I call the bad days the dark days. Mom says try lighting candles. When I see a candle, I see the flesh of a church. The flicker of a flame, sparks of a memory younger than noon. I am standing beside her open casket. It is the moment I learn every person I ever come to know will someday die. Besides, Mom, I'm not afraid of the dark. Perhaps that's part of the problem. Mom says
Kelly?
the problem
Yeah.
is that you
Can you
can't.
pause for a second?
Yeah.
I can't.
I think I'm getting an emergency phone call, so I'm going to ask you to carry on. I'm going to step out.
Go ahead.
So
Okay.
thanks, and yeah, because the person called twice, so that's not a good sign.
No,
So,
go ahead and take it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later. So I'm going to sign off.
All right.
Okay.
Let me. Okay. So we'll just finish up with the rest of this poem, guys, and then we'll close out. I'll give you guys some numbers. And we will keep Karl's folks in our prayers for sure.
My house inside of my head. Mom says, where did anxiety come from? Anxiety is the cousin visiting from out of town. Depression felt obligated to bring to the party. Mom, I am the party. Only I am a party I don't want to be at. Mom says, why don't you try going to actual parties? See your friends. California has this romantic way of making the moon feel like perfect company. Mom says try counting sheep, but my mind can only count reasons to stay awake, so I go for walks. But my stuttering kneecaps clank like silver spoons held in strong arms with loose wrists. They ring in my ears like clumsy church bells, reminding me I am sleepwalking on an ocean of happiness I cannot baptize myself in. Mom says happy is a decision, but my happy is as hollow as a pin-pricked egg. My happy is a high fever that will break. Mom says I am so good at making something out of nothing, and then flat out asks me if I am afraid of dying. No, I am afraid of living. Mom, I am lonely. I think I learned how when Dad left, how to turn the anger into lonely, the lonely into busy. So when I tell you I've been super busy lately, I mean I've been falling asleep watching SportsCenter on the couch to avoid confronting the empty side of my bed. But my depression always drags me back to my bed until my bones are the forgotten fossils of a skeleton sunken city. My mouth a boneyard of teeth broken from biting down on themselves. The hollow auditorium of my chest swoons with echoes of a heartbeat, but I am a careless tourist here. I will never truly know everywhere I have been. Mom still doesn't understand. Mom, can't you see that neither can I?
And so I wanted to share that with you guys. I found that a couple of years ago, and her emotion, her use of words, her ability to describe, wanting to be happy and not being able to understand what was happening and to help someone else understand what was happening, because you're in this thing that you just cannot explain, was for me what my low points felt like. I am thankful I have, family and friends that understood and loved me through those dark times. But so many people don't. And one of the reasons why Karl and I have Real Talk is to be able to give people a voice, to be able to give folks a place that they can come in and hear real conversations about everyday life. I will, thank you. I'll post that link in the comments, and share it. When you watch her, she has since re-recorded that poem, and it's very clean and very crisp and very clear. But I always watch this version because you can see it, hear and feel her emotion, right? You can feel the anxiety. You can, at least I can. And so this particular version really resonates with me personally. And she was able to articulate things that I knew in my heart and in my mind, but just couldn't find the words to be able to share. So with that, Karl, who had to leave to take care of a situation, and we thank you for joining us. We will do this again. We want to hear your questions. We want to be able to talk about the things that you guys want to hear about. And again, this is Real Talk. You have two folks giving it to you just how it is. So about this time, we always give you a list of resources, places you can call, places you can go online to get the help that you may need, or to be able to help a friend or loved one get the assistance that they need. So if you're experiencing a medical emergency, please dial 911. Dial 911 or go to the nearest emergency room. If you are looking for resources and you don't know where to go, you don't know how to find a therapist, or you are unsure of, how to find a program, or maybe you have questions about being a caregiver, you can dial 211 on your phone, or you can go to 211 in your browser. And this is a national number. So you can do a keyword search, zip code search, city search for resources. So you may have someone, Michelle asked earlier about How do you encourage someone to seek treatment? And maybe they're not in your area, right? And they don't know where to go. You can look up 211 and look up resources in their area for them. And that's one of the ways that, you can show that you care, if that's something that they are looking for and would appreciate you doing. So 211. If you need someone to talk to, you're in crisis, and it's not a medical emergency, but you need to get on the phone. You need to have someone, there to talk to. Please dial the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Their number is 800, so 800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. Karl usually gives a whole bunch of other numbers that I never remember, but the Mental Health Association is a great place that you can look up. Again, that's a national organization. Look up MHA or Mental Health Association in your search bar, and it'll take you to your local site. You can also text the prevention helpline. If you text TALK, TALK, to, I'm going to get the name. I think I'm going to get it wrong. So I'll put that in the chat, because I think it's 753 line. I'll put it in the chat for you, and that way you'll have it. Until next time, I am Kelly Marie Wolford. My co-host is Karl Shallowhorn from Shallowhorn Consulting. I am from Front Seat Life LLC, and we encourage you to be the light and to be well.